here. It's nighttime. That's like 9:30 at night. I'm about to sell something on Facebook Marketplace. This is what it is. What's up, guys and gals? Chris the Bonafide Hustler comes to you live from the outside of my house. It's 9:30 at night, and someone wants to pick this thing up. You know what? I think I'm going to do it. It's a 16-inch pit bike dyno VFR. Kind of rare. 10 bucks into it. I'm going to sell it for $100 right now. And I've had this bike for like 6 months, and it's time to turn it. You know, yeah. So, welcome to the vlog. I'm a little scared, but not too scared. I got something in my pocket that will help me from being even more scared, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is where the vlog starts. Beautiful, breezy evening night here in Austin, Texas. We're going to sell this bike. And, you know, if you want to learn how to flip things on Facebook or go to garage sales and make money or go to thrift stores and make money, you got to know what to look for. This guide right here will help you out. This first link down below. Go check it out. Free guide. The guy seems pretty cool, so I'm not like super worried about it. I would not be doing this if it was like stereo stuff, rims and wheels, you know, video game things, Air Jordans. Like, I just would not be doing a night meetup. But the guy, you know, is probably like a little micro collector dude. This bike is kind of something you don't see every single day. So it's like an older BMX, except it's a 16-inch wheel kind of thing. So they commonly, you know, in vintage days would call this like a pit bike, you know. So anyway, so this is more like a pit 16-inch wheel dyno VFR cruiser with all the actual things on it too, which is kind of rare. So fixer-upper, he's going to take care of it. I'm going to make my money. All right, here comes the car right here. Told you he was trustworthy. 100 bucks right here. I knew he was going to pay 100 bucks, easy money. I'm going to go back to watching some TV. We're the following morning in this Trek Pre-Caliber 20 that I got for free, all right? But it had a completely toast rear tire and it had a flat front tube or something like that. So bought a tire for it. The tube's in the front. I put some new grips because, you know, these are cheap. I got a bunch of them. And yeah, this Trek Pre-Caliber 20 hopefully should sell for $120 cash today under the doormat behind that door. Pretty nice bike. It's a 20-inch kids bike. And yeah, best brand right here when it comes to kids bikes. This one, Wahoo and Specialized is what you want to look for when you're dealing with kids bikes. But the Trek Pre-Caliber is a really good model. And if you see this on the top, then you're probably in the money and you can start, you know, getting the bike maybe $20 or less. And especially when they have gears and a front fork, they're worth a little bit more than the ones that are just one speed. So we're gonna leave it outside the front door and then we're gonna see where the rest of the vlog takes us. I think we're gonna go to the antique booth today too, because we have to pay rent and drop some things off. So we're gonna go look at the booth. It's probably gonna be a little on the trash side, but that's okay. We're gonna get it ready for the weekend and that's the best we can do. All right. So there was a car here when I pulled back. I went to Costco and I came back and there was a person there that had loaded up something in their SUV. Now they're gone. I have an idea. It's not here. Okay, so it must mean that the money is under the doormat. Let's check it out. Okay. Yes. We're looking for $120 cash. Man, she like licked the envelope and everything. What? Cheddar Ferry struck on this vlog. Boom. All for a free Trek bike. Put a tire and a tube on it. And some grips. Pretty good. So I basically, at the end of the day, probably made around $95. Because I spent about 20 to 25 in parts, maybe around 20. So maybe I made out like 100 bucks right there. All right, we're at the booth with our dogs, making a drop, dropping this thing off. Never made it on a garage sale vlog, but I picked that up at a garage sale. It was like 10 bucks. That was like $5. I'm gonna ask about 100 plus for that. Got 5 or 10 bucks for this. Ask about 45 for this guy. Right here, free globe from the side of the street. Ask about 50 for that one. Actually looking pretty good. We're not going to spend that much time here. Some other randoms. Stuff my girlfriend found. Shogun game from a garage sale, $3, $2, something like that. And then boots my girlfriend found. We're all going to deposit this and get it on the walls of the booth. Yeah, the booth looks so strong. Look at this. My girlfriend and I were just talking about how these are hers right here. And like they're still here and it's crazy. There's going to be a really big payday when she sells these. They're so beautiful. Real stained glass with leaded, you know, welded parts right here, you know, so pretty. Is that one of yours too? Mm-hmm. That one's really cool too. These are all things that we find at garage sales or Facebook Marketplace, you know. Yeah, solid booth. We're feeling good about it. The next thing for sale is this bike right here. I picked it up 2 weeks ago for $25 at a garage sale, and I think we're gonna sell it for like $180 cash or something like that. It's a giant boulder, nothing crazy. 14-inch frame, small frame mountain bike. Pretty neat. I just got done with the ride myself. Personal bona fide bike. Time to get this bike sold. How are you? Where are you? Okay, we got 180 cash. Pretty sure the person knows me from like gym culture here in Austin, Texas, because he's like, you look familiar, and he knew about the organic muscle thing, the supplement company that I kind of work with. Interesting. So yeah, small kind of world. We have 180 cash right here. So I made like 150 on that flip. Actually like 155. It's pretty good. We're at the next day, and something that sold this morning, well, I think it's sold because it's not outside my front porch anymore, but it was a pair of these shoes right here. And these were bought like a week ago. These are on something Helion, but they were like an all-weather waterproof, low-cut, on cloud, like kind of trail shoe. That's what they were. Now, I left them outside this morning. I went to go do all my stuff, my gym, everything. And the person said they left 60 bucks under the mat. I'm into them for 20 bucks. I put them on eBay for 100. So I listed them locally for 60. Let's see if we have 60 cash under the mat. All right, let's take a look. Oh, wow. Let's go. 60 bucks cash for those shoes. All right, so we're at the next day, and a bike that I picked up last weekend for 50 bucks should sell today for 150. Now, I thought it was gonna sell for like 200 bucks or something like that, but I found something wrong with the shifter and it's not shifting properly. Now, I don't wanna be a bike mechanic. I just wanna be a flipper. I'll do like basic stuff, like no problem. But when you start getting to shifters and like ordering another one and recabling it all up, like, I don't know. It just takes more time than I'm willing to commit. I just want to do quicker flips. So we'll make 100 bucks on this bike. And it's a Specialized Hard Rock comp. You can see it right here. Entry-level mountain bike, okay? 26-inch wheels, nothing crazy. So yeah, listed it for 180. Someone offers me 150, I'm gonna take it. Okay, so any second now we should have someone coming down the cul-de-sac and buying this bike. It's kind of crazy because I have some plans to get to, but I like kind of put this bike right before those plans start. But the plans also require me to open the garage. And I have like a lot of bikes in there, so I really don't want to get into like a conversation of like, oh my God, look at all your bikes, like show me all your bikes, like all this stupid stuff. So it's like I can't get to my plans until this guy comes here, but he's supposed to be here like any second now. Hurry up. Right, here comes the person right here. They have a car. I don't know how they're gonna get it home, but that's their problem. We'll see. Okay, the guy's leaving. We have 150 cash right there. Easy money. Look at that. Okay, so a little bit on the shorter side of this vlog, but something I wanted to echo in on is the fact that, you know, the booth is an interesting kind of ecosystem in and of itself, because we've had some really good sales lately in the booth, but I never cover the booth stuff here on these videos. And so particular kind of sales that got just come up to my head, I didn't show it on the vlog, but in that crate that I bought to the booth, and I was distributing, you know, the globe out, and I was putting out the hat, and talking about the windows a little bit, you know, but I had a black bin with me that had a bunch of stuff in, and I started filming kind of halfway into putting some of that stuff out. One of the things that I put there was a really cool like leather weekender bag that was really thick, and it was really well constructed. I paid 10 bucks for it at a garage sale only 2 weeks ago. That thing sold within like 2 days of being at the booth. But if I had put that thing on eBay, it was like a no brand too, which was even crazier because it's not like a Filson or any of those other brands. Not like an Orvis, a Filson. It wasn't a, you know, really rare Fry bag or a Duluth or a, you know, Polo Ralph Lauren bag. It was none of those. It was just an unbranded, but kind of thicker leather bag. So if you can kind of envision that with a shoulder strap and then two handles, you know, like a weekender, a cool looking weekender, kind of thing you would pull out of like a Bronco. Like a vintage Bronco, and you're going to your log cabin or whatever. So yeah, you know, $10 into that, and then I put it into the booth, and you know, 2 days later it's gone. I put it on the floor too. I didn't even hang it up or nothing. So like that showed up on the sheet the other day as sold, and I got like 109 on the check after the mall made their money and everything. Like, you know, $100 like just like that. And then other things that are interesting kind of sells at the booth. You know, $30 or $36 fringe jacket. If you watch my vlogs about 4 months ago, I got this at a Savers. I think I have a picture of it right here because I had to pull it off of eBay. Some of the items in my booth are cross-listed on eBay. So as soon as I saw this thing that had sold one evening at the booth, I like immediately yanked my eBay listing. And I would say that I have somewhere between about 10 and 15 items that are on eBay that are also at the booth. And they're like cool high-ticket items. But anyway, so this like jacket right here was found at a Savers for like $36. And by the time the booth, you know, sold it and cut out my money, it was like 158 bucks. And what's even more weird is comps on eBay for that jacket are right around 100 to like $150. And that's not even including the shipping and the promoted listings fees and all that kind of stuff, which is nuts. So every now and then I'll put, you know, like I said, like 10 items that are like kind of high ticket items. There's some other leather jackets that are there that are on my eBay store, and they'll just sell. And then it's like flat out, like, don't have to deal with returns, don't have to deal with packaging, no promoted listings fee, no general fee. I just pay the booth 10% of whatever the sales price is of the item. So that way I don't have to be there. It's unmanned. The people take my item to the front with the tag. They know where it came from. And then the front has all the, you know, cash transactions, the credit card transactions and everything. And every single evening I check a sheet to see what has sold in the booth, if anything, right? So yeah, we've had a pretty strong, I don't know, the pay period has only been open for about, I don't know, 6 days, maybe 5 days. And it's already at like 567 or something, which isn't too bad. So yeah, little items sell, VHS tapes, cassette tapes, boots, shirts, random stuff, glassware. And then you have some of these bigger things that just like pop out of nowhere and sell. And it's really interesting. So the booth ecosystem, if you have one around you and you're maybe considering an antique mall kind of setup, they're cool. They're not truly passive, but they're interesting ways and vehicles to make money. And it's even better if it's closer to your house. So the one that I have my booth in is close if I take toll roads, but not close if I don't. And I don't know, like I don't particularly like going there, but my previous antique mall was just 5 exits from my house. So that was a lot easier. And it was more in a part of town that I was always in. I'm almost never in this part of town where my antique booth is, in this antique mall in Round Rock. But nevertheless, I want to leave you with, yes, a shorter vlog, but also kind of some clarification, because I get some comments of like, take us into the booth and like, tell us what sells and like all this stuff. And it's a little difficult because I have to locate the pictures. I have to like look at the sheets. I have to like make a video about it, pop pictures up. Like it's a little bit more work, but the booth is an interesting kind of place as long as you can keep it nice and clean. Because the booth video that we did in a vlog 2 weeks before that, we went into the booth and threw away like 50 to 100 items like that were just cluttering up the booth. So the final shot that you saw on this vlog, I'm proud of the booth. It looks really good. I mean, you can walk into it, you can look left, look right, look up, look down, try on things. And when we went in there the last time, I was so surprised because like no jackets were on the ground, no boots were in disarray. It was so weird because usually every single week that I go there, I try to go once a week. This thing is just completely destroyed on the weekends. It's crazy. People just go in there, try stuff on, throw it on the ground. It's nuts. And it's part of the reason why I don't go to the booth more, because it's like, I don't know. And it's an ongoing problem. Like I don't go to the booth because I'm like, God, if I go there, I have to spend like an hour, you know? Again, it's not truly passive, but it's close to passive in the sense that every evening I just check a sheet and I take a look. So if that provides any more clarification on the booth, then, you know, whatever. But that's what I wanted to leave on this video. A lot of cool hustles in this video, but I want to open up another one and air it to you guys perhaps in 2 days, something like that. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Goodbye.